Welcome once again to Invica Racetime, coming to you from Williams Grove Speedway. Tonight, the 410 Sprint Cars are the main attraction as 7-time track champion Fred Raymer inches closer to another Cindy Row Autoglass Speedway title. Stay tuned for the green flag.
Acme Trailer Works, a full-service trailer and truck body repair company in New Cumberland, Pennsylvania. Acme Trailer Works manufactures quality utility trailers and is looking for dealers. Whether you have a trailer that hit a bridge, needs its doors fixed, or requires any other repairs, Acme Trailer Works can fix it. Our Acme Car Company division builds specialty vehicles and does custom fabrication and welding. For more information, call us, check our websites, or talk to John Mickle or Bob Bennett at the track.
I did not understand what kind of mortgage I was getting. I don't want to lose my home.
Don't ignore the problem. Contact the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency. For 35 years, we've been the one for housing help. Don't be embarrassed if you didn't understand the papers you signed. You're not alone. Qualified homeowners can refinance their mortgage to payments they can afford. To get started, contact PHFA at 1-800-822-1174.
Welcome back, race fans. We are at Williams Grove Speedway. My name is John Kroll. I have Kevin Nels in the booth with me, and Jason Johnson will be our pit reporter tonight. As you can see, the sprint cars in heat race number 1 pulling out onto the speedway. They'll be lining up behind the pace truck very, very shortly, and we'll be ready to go with our first qualifier of the evening. Starting on the pole position will be the 12W of Troy Fraker. Alongside Fraker, sharing that front row will be the 17B of Stevie Buckwalter. John Westbrook in the 3W will start on the inside of row number 2 in the third spot. Alongside Westbrook, the 0 of Rick Lafferty. Row number 3 will be shared by Jimmy Siegel in the number 59 and Mark Smith in the 7M. Final row, we'll have Todd Schaefer in car 88 on the inside, the defending track champion, and of course alongside Schaefer, the current point leader and the gentleman looking for his 8th track title, the 51 of Fred Raymer. Kevin, cars are getting lined up here in heat race number 1. Should be a very exciting time here as we get set to go.
Yeah, I had a chance to go down and look at the speedway earlier before they did any racing, and they got it in beautiful condition. Good fast racetrack, nice curb out there, many lanes of racing, so it's exciting, and the racing is going to be wonderful this evening.
You know, that was sort of a concern because we just raced here on Tuesday night, and I mentioned the fact that Jason Johnson's our pit reporter tonight. Jason, of course, picked up the big win on Tuesday night as the Casey Kane Foundation folks came to town. Tony Stewart, Dave Blaney were all in action, and it was Jason Johnson coming back tonight to watch the racing, and we put him to work here at Williams Grove.
Yeah, and that's the neat thing about this sport. You know, there's not really any celebrities here. We're all family, and we enjoy watching racing as much as we like driving races.
Well, you're exactly right, and we're going to be getting ready to go here in just a second. Pace truck off the speedway. Pace picks up. Troy Fraker, Stevie Buckwalter sharing that front row. In the turn number 1, it's going to be Buckwalter going to the inside, but John Westbrook on the high side takes the race lead, but we're going to go right back to a yellow flag condition. It looks like Fraker electing to start at the tail end of the field. Probably a very wise move.
Yeah, Troy just bought all that equipment from Chad Layton a few weeks ago, and he's still trying to get the hang of it, and very wise on his part to go to the rear and learn how to drive that car before he starts up there in the middle of a bee's nest.
Absolutely, and of course, taking a look at this starting lineup, we've got some guys who very, very recently picked up their first career wins right here at Williams Grove. The 3W of John Westbrook, the 0 of Rick Lafferty. Lafferty racing for 9 years, finally got that first elusive win, and Westbrook, man, what a storybook tale.
Yeah, 3 wins already in his rookie season, and he shows a lot of promise. I know there's a lot of teams that are looking his direction just because of how well he's done. And you talk about the strength of the field here at Williams Grove. Every starter in this heat race, with the exception of 2, have won a feature somewhere. in Pennsylvania this season. So it's a very stout field here this evening.
Absolutely. And, of course, we have Todd Schaefer and Fred Raymer. 9 track championships between those two guys. A lot of talent in this field for sure. Looks like we're going to try it once again. It will be Westbrook on the inside of front row. Buckwater on the outside. Green flag waves. Westbrook will jump out to the early race lead. He'll lead Buckwater into turn 1. Here comes Lafferty going to the bottom of the track. He'll pick up third and second simultaneously. Lafferty on the charge here as he now go into turn 3 and 4. Westbrook is your leader. Lap number 1 in the record books. Westbrook leads. Lafferty second. Buckwater is third. Then it's the 59 of Jim Siegel. Fred Raymer quickly working his way up through the field. He'll round out the top 5. Then it is Todd Schaefer, Mark Smith, and Troy Fraker. John Westbrook trying to put some distance between himself and the rest of the field, doing a good job here in the early stages of heat race number 1. Lafferty holding on to the second spot. Buckwater looked like he was closing in on the rear bumper of Lafferty, but Buckwater got a little out of shape in 1 and 2. It will cost him a couple of car lengths to the second place car of Rick Lafferty. John Westbrook has things under control to say the least in the Claire Wintermare number 3W. Looks like Rick Lafferty trying a different line that time, and through turns 1 and 2, he'll move up the track a bit, and it certainly does seem to be working. He's holding the rest of the drivers at bay. Jimmy Siegel on the charge. He'll take to the high line, coming off turn 4, and take away the number 3 spot. Or does he? Buckwater battles back on the inside, but cannot retake the position. Siegel off a big win last Saturday night at Lincoln Speedway. We are at the halfway mark. 5 down, 5 to go for John Westbrook. Then it is the 0, Rick Lafferty, a 59, Jim Siegel, the 17B of Steve Buckwater, the 51, Fred Raymer, the 88, Todd Schaefer, 7M of Mark Smith, and 12W of Troy Fraker. Westbrook able to jump out to the lead to drop the green flag. He has not been challenged throughout the first 6 laps of this event, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon. Actually, the rest of the field, including the runner-up car of Rick Lafferty, losing ground to the race leader, as Westbrook certainly tuning up for the feature event here tonight. Westbrook making look simple. Around turns 1 and 2, he'll put the Troy Fraker car 1 lap in arrears, and Westbrook now has the option to try and look around for different lines as Fred Raymer closes up on the 17B of Steve Buckwater. That would be the battle for the number 4 spot, but looks like Buckwater going to hang tough for the time being. Now Raymer goes to the inside, entering turn 1, but it will still be Buckwater holding on to the spot. White flag goes into the air as John Westbrook comes off the 4th turn down the front stretch, already entering turn number 1. Here comes Raymer. Again, this time going to the outside, and he will complete the pass, getting by the 17B of Buckwater. So all of a sudden, Raymer up into 4th, Buckwater back to 5th, checkered flag, and it will be John Westbrook picking up the win in heat race number 1. Problems up in turn 3 for the 88 of Schaefer. Todd Schaefer obviously has suspension problems on his number 88 car. Oh, it's the left rear tire, I should say, completely off the wheel. And Kevin, Todd did a great job just holding on to that race car.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, when you blow a tire, it's extremely hard to hold on to, and the car shakes like it's falling into a million pieces. And he did a great job. I was watching him there. He did a great job of keeping it out of the fence. And he's a veteran, so he knows what to do in a situation like that.
Todd Schaefer indeed is a veteran, of course, 2-time track champion, defending champion here at Williams Grove, and that's not something you see very, very often where the tire just comes off the wheel like that.
Yeah, I mean, you have tires explode every once in a while. I mean, it's just part of it, and probably what happened is it probably got punctured at some point during the race, got very hot, and then once it gets so hot, it just comes apart. But again, he did a great job of saving that car.
Absolutely, and of course, without fenders, you're not tearing stuff up like they do in like the NASCAR deal and stuff. So a break, possibly no damage on the car, so they'll be able to get it ready to go for the feature event. John Westbrook does pick up the win over Rick Lafferty. Jim Siegel 3rd. Fred Raymer comes home in the 4th spot. Steve Buckwater 5th. Then it was a 7M of Mark Smith, the 88 of Todd Schaefer, and the 12W of Troy Fraker.
Eichelberger's U-Pull Essential PA's premier choice for used auto parts. With a few simple tools and a little elbow grease, you can save as much as 80% over new auto parts. And with a very large selection of cars at our location to choose from, you'll find what you're looking for at Eichelberger's. Don't forget, if you have a junk or scrap vehicle, give us a call to convert that heap into cash. Call us today at 717-225-5610 or visit eichelbergersupull.com.
And welcome back. Standing here with heat race number 1 winner, John Westbrooks. John, we've been splitting the duties between 358s and 410s. The track's about halfway up the racetrack. Look really good in the heat race. How do we feel, and how are we standing here come feature time?
Just interested to find out where we start. That's going to mean a lot tonight, especially in 410 racing the way it is. So, it all depends on where we start. The car's working good, and we'll go from there.
All right, you got it. Coming back to you. Back to you, John.
We are back at Williams Grove. As I mentioned, Corey Haas, your pole setter for heat race number 2. Starting on the outside of row 1, the 45 of A.J. Michael. Starting third, the 10N, Nicky Young. Starting fourth, the 69K of Donnie Kreitz Jr. Chad Layton in car number 25 will start fifth. Starting sixth, the 89 of Cody Dara. Final row on the inside, car number 30, Doug Ash. Alongside Ash, the 07 of Mark Coldren. Corey Haas, A.J. Michael setting the pace as the leaders come off turn 4. Green flag in the air. Leaders down the front stretch into turn number 1. It'll be Corey Haas in the Barshinger Builders number 39 car taking over the race lead. Here comes the 10N of Nicky Young. Nicky started on the inside of row 2 in the third spot. He'll jump up into the runner-up position. Cody Dara looking very stout as he comes off turn number 4, trying to pick up a couple of spots. He'll do so, moving up into the 4th position and immediately challenging for third. Dara shoots to the inside of A.J. Michaels. They come off the second turn down the backstretch, under the bridge into turn 3. Still a side-by-side battle for the number 3 spot. Dara to the inside. He'll take the spot away. A.J. Michael returns the favor. Donnie Kreitz Jr., Chad Layton right behind. Back again in front of the other, it's the 89 of Dara and the 45 of Michael. Neither driver giving up. A.J. Michael picked up his first Williams Grove win a couple of weeks ago. Cody Dara picked up his first 410 sprint car win a couple of weeks ago as well at Lincoln Speedway. That battle has settled down a bit now. It is Dara in third, then it's A.J. Michael fourth, followed by Donnie Kreitz Jr. Out front, Corey Haas coming off turn number 4. Chad Layton and Doug Ash battling through the third and fourth turn area for position in tonight's second qualifying heat race for the 410 sprinters. A.J. Michael now getting caught up in that battle. Chad Layton gets by Michael. Layton moves up into the number 5 spot. Then it's A.J. Michael followed by Doug Ash. Halfway for Corey Haas. Haas brings the field off turn 2 with 5 laps remaining. Nicky Young in the number 2 spot. Corey Haas already working his way into turn 3. Cody Dara up into that third spot. It's going to be the 25 of Chad Layton challenging Donnie Kreitz Jr. And looks like Layton will take over the number 4 spot. Kreitz back to 5th. Doug Ash a couple of car lengths behind that 2-car battle in the 7th position. Then it's A.J. Michael slipping all the way back through the field. Out front, Corey Haas is your leader. 3-car battle once again for the number 4 spot between Chad Layton, Donnie Kreitz Jr., and Doug Ash. 3 distinctive different lines. Looks like Ash running the high side through turns 1 and 2. We'll see what he does down the other end of the speedway. Layton goes a bit wide in turns 3 and 4, as does Ash. It will be Donnie Kreitz Jr. keeping him more in the center of the speedway. And those 3 drivers battling each other have caught Cody Dara. Cody Dara looked awfully secure in third spot. All of a sudden, that goes away. White flag, final lap for Corey Haas. Your leader, Nicky Young, is second. What a battle we have for third. Cody Dara trying to hold on to it, while Chad Layton tries to take it away. Doug Ash getting by Donnie Kreitz Jr. as Corey Haas brings the field off turn number 4 for the checkered flag. Corey Haas is your winner. Nicky Young comes home second. Heat race number 2, receiving the checkered flag. It is the 11C of Corey Haas picking up the win. Haas started in a pole position, jumped out to the early race lead, led each and every lap. Second to 10 and Nicky Young. Third to 89 of Cody Dara. Fourth goes to the 25 of Chad Layton. Doug Esch rounds out the top 5 in car number 30. He was followed by the 69K of Donnie Crates Jr., the 45 AJ Michael, and the 07 of Mark Coldren.
Since 1995, J&K Salvage has been York County's premier recycler of ferrous and non-ferrous materials. Whether you have a bag full of aluminum cans or a flatbed loaded with scrap steel, you'll find J&K quick and convenient. We can even let you donate your recyclables to charity. We are committed to providing the best personal service and competitive pricing with the ability to adapt quickly to your ever-changing requirements. Call today at 717-843-3672 or visit jksalvage.com to see what J&K Salvage can do for you.
PAPosseracing.com, a Central Pennsylvania source for all things open wheel, covering local and national sprint car, super sportsman, and midget racing with daily news, results, photos, and video. PAPosseracing.com has what you're looking for. Be sure to check out the forums, voter polls, and online store, then visit the Kids Club to sign up your child for giveaways, contests, and much more. If you are a race fan, then PAPosseracing.com is the place to be.
And welcome back. Standing here, a heat race winner, number 2, Corey Haas. Corey, we definitely took full advantage of starting up on the front row. Car looked like it's operating pretty good. As soon as we come in, the guys are down working on the motor. Do we have trouble with the Kreiner power plant, or are we just maintenance? How do we look come feature time?
Everything's good. We just had a little oil leak there. Motor was running real well, and starting up front's a pretty good deal.
Not sure where we're starting in the feature just yet, but do we stand a good chance of getting a top 3 finish or shooting for the win?
Yeah, well, the way the track is, you know as well as I do, it's pretty narrow right now, so you never know what will happen. We don't have a whole lot of experience with this thing, but we're going to be starting up front. We're going to give her heck and see what happens.
Well, we definitely want to thank all the sponsors that make this possible for you, Corey. Who would you like to thank?
Yeah, I got to thank Mike Barcher, the owner, Emby & Sons, Tailgaters, and Kane Hardwood Flooring, and all my sponsors. Do a good job and help us out a lot, and I appreciate everything they do, and hopefully we can get a win tonight.
All right, good luck, Corey. That's your heat race winner, number 2. Back to you, John.
For sure. Right now we're ready to go in heat race number 3. The 8M Chris Meleson will be your pole setter. Alongside Meleson will be the number 11 of Mike Erdley. Starting third on the inside of row number 2, car number 9, Craig Keel. Craig will be lined up alongside the 87 of Alan Crimes. The third row will be shared by the 21 of Brian Monteith and the 22 of Greg Hodnett. Bringing up the final row. On the inside, the 71, Brian Leppo. On the outside, car 63, Josh Weller. And just like that, we go back to green flag racing. Side-by-side battle down the front stretch into turn number 1. Meleson has the inside line. He has the advantage. He'll lead the field, but here comes the Greg Hodnett car. The JNS Fabrications number 22 quickly working his way up and taking the lead away as they come off turn number 4. Meleson hanging tough in the number 2 spot. Erdley is third, but it will be Hodnett leading the field into turn number 1. And we've got problems in turn 1. Chris Meleson out over the guardrail. Meleson trying to stay right with the race leader Hodnett, and they made contact, and just that quick. Chris Meleson's 8M up and out over. You can see the car flying through the air, and very, very quickly the safety crew, safety people on the job, and we'll have to wait and see what the report is there. And we do understand we do have a replay. There's Greg Hodnett leading with Chris Meleson second. They go into turn 1. Kevin, boy, contact like that, the result's always going to be the same.
Yeah, and that type of accident right there, as much as it looks like Meleson drove into the back of him, what probably from the driver's seat, Chris probably thought that Greg was going to run the top of that corner, and at the last second Greg turned, and Chris was going too fast to miss him. So, again, that's a tough break. He certainly didn't do it on purpose, and, let's just hope he's okay here.
Well, absolutely, and as soon as we get a report, we'll certainly pass it on. Great point. Chris not only running his line and running his race, he's trying to think of what, the guy ahead of him is going to do. And here we're going to see it once again. Boy, Chris just really, that car is just coming apart. The wings are flying, parts are flying off the car. I don't think he touched the guardrail. He went out over it completely.
Yeah, he totally missed the guardrail. But I'll tell you what, that's the nice thing about sprint cars. I mean, that wing, everything on these cars is designed to absorb impact. And if everything else is absorbing impact, the driver's not. And that's what makes these race cars probably one of the safest race cars in the world.
Absolutely, and it's a great thing, being the fact that they're open wheel. We saw how quick things can go wrong. And again, we're going to, as soon as we get a report, we are going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with the restart lineup.
Acme Trailer Works, a full-service trailer and truck body repair company in New Cumberland, Pennsylvania. Acme Trailer Works manufactures quality utility trailers and is looking for dealers. Whether you have a trailer that hit a bridge, needs its doors fixed, or requires any other repairs, Acme Trailer Works can fix it. Our Acme Car Company division builds specialty vehicles and does custom fabrication and welding. For more information, call us, check our websites, or talk to John Mickle or Bob Bennett at the track.
I did not understand what kind of mortgage I was getting. I don't want to lose my home.
Don't ignore the problem. Contact the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency. For 35 years, we've been the one for housing help. Don't be embarrassed if you didn't understand the papers you signed. You're not alone. Qualified homeowners can refinance their mortgage to payments they can afford. To get started, contact PHFA at 1-800-822-1174.
Back at Williams Grove Speedway, and you can see right now in the replay why we're under a yellow flag condition. Actually, we're under a red flag condition. Chris Meleson making contact with Greg Hodnett. The open wheel cars, the wheels got together. The result, Chris Meleson out over the guardrail. The good news, he is A-OK. Now, you can't say the same for the car. Kevin, a lot of damage to that car as they bring it back into the pit area.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage to it. One promising thing is that they only have it hooked in the front end, which means there's probably not a bunch of rear end damage to it. I mean, I'm sure the stuff's bent, but they didn't pick it up by the roll cage. It's not totally destroyed, but there certainly is a lot of damage to it, and they'll have to build a new one before they come back.
That's a very good point. The back wheels are rolling very, very freely, and there is a lot of front-end damage, and you're right. Their night is over. Bad break for the youngster out of Dillsburg, Pennsylvania. But we're going to go back to green flag racing very, very shortly. One lap is complete. Now, Greg Hodnett, who was the race leader when that incident took place, will actually be restarting at the tail end of the field there again, and you can see a shot of all the damage to that 8M of Meleson. And it looks like the field now coming off turn 4. Mike Erdley is the race leader. Hodnett to the tail end. He went to the pit area. He's back on the track. Green flag. Erdley will lead the field into turn number 1. Craig Keel out of Weedsport, New York, comes to Williams Grove each and every Friday night. He's in the runner-up spot. Brian Monteith, the edge, in that number 3 position. Hodnett working his way, now challenging Brian Lepo for the number 4 spot. Lepo in the 4th position. Hodnett is 5th. John Schmeller in the 6th spot. Lepo working the high side as Hodnett continues to work the low side through turns 1 and 2. We'll see what happens at the opposite end of the speedway. Looks like those drivers maintaining about the same line. Here comes Hodnett. Cannot quite complete the pass on Brian Lepo. Now Hodnett shoots to the inside in turn 1, which is where the incident took place with Chris Meleson. But again, the result's the same. Brian Lepo, nice and strong and smooth off the top side of the turns. Lepo able to keep the momentum up. Mike Erdley continues to show the way in the Randy Leaside Shell number 11 car. Battle for the number 2 spot. Looks like Craig Keel has the position, but Brian Monteith doing what he can to close a gap between himself and the blue number 9 of Keel. It's Erdley, your leader. Second is Keel. Right there's the 21 of Brian Monteith. And in the 71, Brian Lepo, who's been trying to hold off the challenges of Greg Hodnett, has actually closed in very close to the rear bumper of the Brian Monteith car. Erdley is your leader as he brings the field off turn 4. Keel still in the number 2 spot, but the battle is going to be for the 3rd spot. It's now a 3-car battle for that position. Hodnett continues to work the inside of Lepo. Lepo trying to close the gap a little bit more between himself and Brian Monteith. Neither driver able to make an advance as Erdley continues to show the way. Craig Keel running a solid second. Then it's third, fourth, and fifth, all under a blanket. Again, Hodnett goes to the inside as they exit turn number 2. He stays right with Lepo, but Lepo is the stronger of the two cars down the backstretch into turn 3. Here they come once again off turn 4. Well, this time it's going to be Hodnett taking advantage of the low groove. He will move up one more spot, but Lepo doesn't change his line. He goes right back to the top side in turns 1 and 2, but cannot return the favor on Greg Hodnett. Hodnett now trying to reel in the third place car of Brian Monteith on this, the final circuit. Mike Erdley showing the way through turns 1 and 2, down the backstretch one final time. Erdley out of Elizabethville, Pennsylvania, trying to pick up the win in heat race number 3. Craig Keel running in that second spot. It'll be Erdley, though, coming down the front stretch and the first one across the start-finish line. Then it will be Craig Keel, followed by the 21 of Brian Monteith. Coming home in the number 4 spot, the 22 of Greg Hodnett. Then it was the 71 of Brian Lepo and the 63 of Josh Weller. Well, Kevin, you know what? Greg Hodnett, whatever damage was done to his car was quickly repaired. Looks like the car is working pretty well.
Yeah, and the most important part about that heat race was he got back to the 4th position, which is the last invert position. So, really, I mean, he got drove into down there, and you hate to see that, but no harm, no foul. He's still qualified through the invert, so his starting position will be the same in the feature, whether he won the heat or finished 4th. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
When you talk, let's tell the fans exactly what we mean when we say invert. The top 4 will be handicapped to the front of the field for the feature lineup, but according to their point average, correct?
Right, yes. When there's 3 heat races for the 410 sprint cars, the top 6 cars will qualify, and the top 4 will be handicapped to the front of the feature. In other words, they'll fill the top 12 starting positions in the feature according to their points, their point average. So, like I said, I mean, whether Greg won the heat or Greg finished 4th, it really didn't make much of a difference because the top 4 cars get handicapped according to their point average.
And when you looked at that car, I don't think there was a lot of damage to the 22. He probably went to the pit area just to get it checked out.
Oh, and you have to do that. I mean, that's very important that you do that, and because you never know, your car could be laying out there, if you don't. So yeah, it's very important.
Exactly. Well, we're going to go take another short commercial break. When we return, we'll have more from Williams Grove Speedway.
Acme Trailer Works, a full-service trailer and truck body repair company in New Cumberland, Pennsylvania. Acme Trailer Works manufactures quality utility trailers and is looking for dealers. Whether you have a trailer that hit a bridge, needs its doors fixed, or requires any other repairs, Acme Trailer Works can fix it. Our Acme Car Company division builds specialty vehicles and does custom fabrication and welding. For more information, call us, check our websites, or talk to John Mickle or Bob Bennett at the track.
I did not understand what kind of mortgage I was getting. I don't want to lose my home.
Don't ignore the problem. Contact the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency. For 35 years, we've been the one for housing help. Don't be embarrassed if you didn't understand the papers you signed. You're not alone. Qualified homeowners can refinance their mortgage to payments they can afford. To get started, contact PHFA at 1-800-822-1174.
Welcome back. Standing here with heat winner number 3, Williams Grove Speedway, Mike Early. Mike, we started up on the front row. Didn't have quite the start we wanted, but the first and second there got together in turn 1, kind of opened the door back up for you with the red flag, and kind of checked out after the red. How did the car feel, and how do we look going into the feature event?
Well, the car felt, it didn't feel too bad. It's hard to tell when you start at the front like that, and clean air on these wings and everything is so important. But we'll be starting on the outside of the row of the main event here, and just try to get a good start and hold on to it. The start seems to be everything anymore.
I'll tell you what, it's really great to be out at Williams Grove Speedway on this Friday night and a great crowd on hand. Got any sponsors or people we'd like to thank tonight, Mike?
Yeah, I certainly want to thank my car owner, Randy Lizai. You know, we haven't had the best of years this year. We've been struggling along, and he hangs in there, and all my guys, and we just keep plugging away, and, you know, hopefully we can get them all a win tonight.
Well, there you got it. Mike Early, struggling off at the beginning of the season, but definitely starting off with a good night tonight with the win of heat number 3. It's back to you, John.
Welcome back once again to Williams Grove Speedway. Invica Racetime bringing you the racing action from the famed half mile. As you can see, the drivers and the crew members putting the finishing touches on the cars as we prepare for tonight's 25-lap feature event. Kevin Nels, this is a very critical time. The driver's getting his head in focus, getting ready to go, putting his game face on, so to say. Meanwhile, the crew members, hopefully they're putting the right setup on the car to match the driver's style.
Yeah, well, you just said it. I mean, hopefully they put the right setup on the car. You see guys putting on shocks. There's a guy siping a tire. It's very important right now. I mean, whoever guesses best is the person that's going to be standing in victory lane tonight. And man, I never see a shot of the 8M, and that thing is tore up.
Yeah, indeed. Now, of course, that was from the heat race earlier this evening, and they're obviously finished for the night. Bad break for Chris Melise, and we saw some shots there of the kids in the infield. Great thing about Williams Grove Speedway, we have bleachers all around the track, plus the infields where the fans can go. The kids get a little bit restless. They can go, as you can see, they can play and jump and carry on. And right now, though, there's no playing here in the pit area or on the track as the drivers are strapped in, and they're thinking 25 laps, do the best they can.
Yeah. Right now it's showtime, and I'll tell you what, we have the way the racetrack is right now. This should be a pretty good race. It looks like it's still got some bite on the very bottom of the racetrack, and obviously it has the darker cushion that you see there around the top side of the racetrack. But right in the middle is a black strip, and it is extremely slick. And I'll tell you what, I mean, if you have a bottom and a top, and some guys will even set up to run the middle, it really sets up and provides a great race for the fans.
Well, indeed it does. And, this is a bit of an odd situation. Here we are towards the end of August, and people are looking at sweatshirts and stuff. It's that chilly. Going to get a little bit chillier before the night's over. Will that will the dampness affect the Speedway?
The dampness will affect the Speedway in the areas that there is still moisture in the racetrack. Like that black strip right through the middle of the corners that we were talking about, it will not affect that whatsoever. But the parts of the racetrack, like the very bottom and the very top, that have a little bit darker dirt, they still have moisture in them, and it will draw that moisture to it, and them parts of the racetrack will get faster. At least that's the way it's supposed to work anyway.
Well, and sometimes it does, and I guess if you don't guess right on the setup, it doesn't always work out for you.
No, and that's the thing. I mean, there are so many minute adjustments you can make to these race cars. It is hard to drive a perfect car. I mean, it's hard to get a perfect car setup-wise. You always have to adjust. There's always something that doesn't quite feel right when you're in there that you have to compensate for. And, that's what separates the good drivers from the bad drivers and the experienced drivers from the inexperienced drivers. And, again, I said it earlier in the broadcast, that's why this sport is so unique. I mean, there's so many different lanes on the racetrack, so many different grooves, so many different adjustments you can make to a car. I mean, literally, there's not one race car on this racetrack that's probably prepared identical to another one, and that's really a neat situation.
Well, another part of that's really kind of bizarre in a sense. This is sprint car racing, and sprint meaning go quick, get it over with, and it's finished. These guys have 25 laps to go. There are no pit stops, at least no scheduled pit stops. They're not going to have time to, talk to their crew members and say, I think we need to change this, change that. It's just going to, the idea is green flag, 25 laps, checkered flag.
Right, and that's what separates the good mechanics from the bad ones. Right. I mean, you get to make your final adjustments in the pit area, and you send that car out on the racetrack prepared for 25 laps. Right. And the only way you get to change that if there's a red flag or there's an open red where the crews get to come out and work on the car, maybe adjust on it. But again, you have to be able to read the racing surface, and you have to be able to adjust properly for it. And we see a lot of veteran crew chiefs in the pit area, and their cars are generally up front. And it's all about experience. This sport is all about experience, and it's tough to run with them guys. But if you hang around long enough, after a while, you'll be up there battling with them, and you're just as good as they are.
Well, you mentioned experience, and of course that is the telltale sign. And we're going to find out in about 25 laps who has the right setup to match the car, the track, and the driver all in one package. And here is the way they'll line up as the car is now picking the pace up. They'll be pulling up behind the pace truck. Starting on the pole after picking up the win in heat race number 2 will be the 11C of Corey Haas. Starting second will be number 11 of Mike Erdley. Mike, of course, the winner of heat race number 3. Starting in the third spot, the 3W. Winner of heat race number 1, John Westbrook. Starting fourth will be the 10N of Nikki Young. Craig Keel in car 9 will start 5th. Starting in the 6th position, the 0, Rick Lafferty. Starting 7th, the 59, Jimmy Siegel. Chad Layton in car 25 will start in the 8th position. Starting 9th will be the 21 of Brian Monteith. Starting 10th, car 89, Cody Dara. Starting 11th, the 22, Greg Hodnett. Starting 12th will be the 51 of Fred Raymer. Steve Buckwalter will start 13th, driving the 17B. Starting 14th, the 30 of Doug Esch. Starting 15th, the 71 of Brian Lepo. Starting 16th, the 7M of Mark Smith. The 69K of Donnie Crakes Jr. will start 17th. Starting 18th, Josh Weller in car 63. Starting 19th, way back deep in the field, defending track champion, car 88, Todd Schaefer. Starting 20th, the 45, A.J. Michael. Alan Crimes in the 87 will start 21st. Starting 22nd, the 12W of Troy Fraker. 23rd starter will be the 07 of Mark Coldren, scheduled to start 24th. The 8M Chris Melisa, and of course we saw the damage to that car. And Kevin, you mentioned earlier in the broadcast about the top 4 positions being handicapped. You can see where Todd Schaefer starting 19th. He qualified, but he does have to start deep in the field.
Right. Them top 4 positions in them heat races are so very important. You look at Fred Raymer there. He got into the top 4 on the last lap of his heat race, and it probably moved him from a 16th, 17th place starting position to the 12th starting position, which is, that's 5 cars you don't have to pass on the racetrack.
That's exactly right, and I'm sure Todd Schaefer is a bit frustrated with that situation. But again, the fact that he was able to get that car stopped or slowed down enough under control when the right rear tire exploded, he has to be happy he still has a race car.
Well, absolutely.
Well, it looks like we're about ready to go. The Pace truck now exiting the speedway. It will be coming down pit road. Corey Haas and Mike Erdley, side by side, road number 1. Green flag in the air. We are racing at Williams Grove Speedway. Mike Erdley will try to take the lead going into turn number 1. Corey Haas battling on the inside. They exit turn 2, side by side. Looks like the advantage now will go to Mike Erdley. Corey Haas in the number 2 spot. Doesn't give up, though. Haas back on the inside, coming off turn 4. Cannot take the lead away. It will be Mike Erdley leading lap number 1. Nikki Young in the 10N. A couple of car lengths back in the 3rd spot. On the high side, coming off turn 2, it was John Westbrook out of shape. Westbrook still trying to gather it in. He does so, but loses a couple of positions. And we've got Jimmy Siegel out of shape in turn 3, and that will bring the yellow flag out. Very early in the event, 2 laps are complete. And wow, Greg Hodnett had another close call there as Jimmy Siegel lost control. And what is Hodnett thinking in a situation like that? Just reacting, I suppose.
Yeah. So you don't even really have time to think about it, to be honest. I mean, you see the guy getting loose in front of you. It's hard to get out of the gas because you're going to lose spots. There you see Siegel getting in under Fred, and they bump wheels. Right there, Hodnett saying, "Stop! Don't come down in front of me." Last minute, he turns away. That's a great job by Greg Hodnett to miss Jimmy Siegel.
You mentioned Greg's probably sitting there saying, don't come down in my way. I'm sure Jimmy Siegel's thinking at the same time, don't hit me, man.
Oh, yeah, I've been in that situation where you're sliding sideways, and at that point right there, you're not sure if you're actually going to spin out or if you're going to save it. You do look back to your left to see who's coming, and I'll tell you, when you have a guy like Greg Hodnett facing you, you get a lot more comfort in that because he is a veteran. He's going to do everything in his power to miss you, and again, he did a great job, and Jimmy didn't get any damage on it. He's going to push off and rejoin the tail of the field.
Well, you're exactly right. Greg Hodnett is a very, very professional type driver, and he will get the job done to avoid a spinning car whenever it is possible. And like you mentioned, Jimmy Siegel No damage to the car. Now, what does that do to the car, though, when you're spinning out, Kevin? Does that affect the tires? Does that affect anything on the car other than the driver's mental state at that point?
No, it really doesn't do anything. Like he didn't contact anything. I'm sure there's probably no damage to his car. Maybe he may have been a radius rod or a Hyman or something by getting into Raymer that caused the accident. Right. But no, the only thing that's going through his mind right now, he started 7th in the feature. Right now he's 23rd.
Right.
He's probably dejected inside the race car, replaying the whole thing in his mind, wondering, what could have happened different, or what should I have done different in that situation. And to be honest with you, I mean, you have to do that in your mind. That's how you learn from that situation.
Right.
Next week he may be in the exact same situation and react different to it, and still be running 7th.
Based on the situation that happened tonight, he could learn from that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Well, he has 23 laps to get the job done, work his way back up through the field for a good finish, and always good to have Jimmy Siegel in the field here with us. Of course, Jimmy, a third-generation driver. His father, Steve, the car owner and chief mechanic on the machine. Steve, very popular driver with the fans a couple of years ago in the sprint car ranks. Mike Erdley is your leader as we get ready to go for the restart. 2 laps are complete. 23 laps remain. Corey Haas is 2nd. Nicky Young 3rd. John Westbrook 4th. Rick Lafferty 5th. Field coming off turn number 4. A single file restart, and the green flag waves. Erdley will lead the field into turn 1. No change among the top 5 again. We see the 3W Westbrook way high, and he gets some momentum coming off turn 2, takes over the number 3 spot. Here comes the 21 of Brian Monteith. He'll take a spot away from Nicky Young, so Nicky Young quickly losing some positions here on the track. Rick Lafferty are up there as well. Lafferty again to the high side. Nicky Young trying to battle back and retake the spot away from John Westbrook. They go into turn 3 side by side. Westbrook on the outside looks like he'll give the spot up, or will he? He'll change lanes quickly, shoot down to the inside. They race down the front stretch into turn 1. There you saw the 51 of Fred Raymer coming into the picture, and he's going to be a factor before the night is over. As John Westbrook and Nicky Young continue to battle for position, it's now a 3-car battle with Fred Raymer right there. Out front, it's all Mike Erdley in the early stages of tonight's feature event. It looks like Raymer getting by Nicky Young's 10N car. There's the 11E of Mike Erdley. Mike out of Elizabethville, Pennsylvania, bringing the field off turn 4 as your race leader. You can see the distance between first and second has grown somewhat. Erdley able to put some daylight, or I should say some time between himself and the second place car of Corey Haas. And we have problems in turn 2. It's the 9 of Craig Keel. And Keel, like Jimmy Siegel, finds himself all of a sudden headed in the wrong direction on the inside of the track. And doesn't look like any contact again, Kevin. Looks like Craig Keel should be able to push off.
Yeah, he just, I was kind of watching back there a little bit, trying to watch the races in the back. Well, here's a replay of it.
Absolutely.
It actually looks like he had some type of engine problem.
Oh.
Yeah, right there you can see the fluid going down the racetrack.
All of a sudden there was a dark streak.
Yep, absolutely. And he just spun in his own oil. He bumped the guardrail there. That really didn't do any damage to the car. But I definitely think he has an engine problem there, and he'll probably be going to the pit area.
Yeah. All of a sudden, the fluid comes out. Craig Keel goes around. We're going to take a break and come back with the balance of tonight's feature event from Williams Grove Speedway.
Eichelberger's U-Pull Essential PA's premier choice for used auto parts. With a few simple tools and a little elbow grease, you can save as much as 80% over new auto parts. And with a very large selection of cars at our location to choose from, you'll find what you're looking for at Eichelberger's. Don't forget, if you have a junk or scrap vehicle, give us a call to convert that heap into cash. Call us today at 717-225-5610 or visit EichelbergersUPull.com.
Since 1995, J&K Salvage has been York County's premier recycler of ferrous and non-ferrous materials. Whether you have a bag full of aluminum cans or a flatbed loaded with scrap steel, you'll find J&K quick and convenient. We can even let you donate your recyclables to charity. We are committed to providing the best personal service and competitive pricing with the ability to adapt quickly to your ever-changing requirements. Call today at 717-843-3672 or visit jksalvage.com to see what J&K Salvage can do for you.
Back at Williams Grove Speedway, Mike Eardley is your race leader with 6 laps complete. We were under a yellow flag condition for Craig Keel. While the caution was on the speedway, Chad Layton had a flat tire on the left rear corner of his car. He came in, has that changed, restarting at the rear of the field. It's going to be a single file restart. We're back to green flag racing. Eardley on the gas. He'll lead the field into turn 2, or I should say turn 1. Here comes the 51 of Fred Raymer. Raymer alongside John Westbrook. That's a side-by-side battle for third. Under the bridge, down the backstretch into turn 3. Westbrook way high off turn number 4. Raymer trying to take away the spot. Cannot get it done. Westbrook says it's time to go racing. He'll go to the inside of Corey Haas. It opens the door, and here comes Raymer. Fred Raymer takes both Corey Haas and John Westbrook, both drivers battling bout, but to no avail. Westbrook out of shape, makes contact with the outside guardrail in turns 3 and 4, and the car very, very gingerly gets upside down, does land on its wheels, but as you can see, there is damage to the number 3W, so the night apparently over a bit too early for John Westbrook. Rest of the drivers will come to a stop as we go to a red flag condition. And we'll take a look at it once again. Kevin, it looks like John Westbrook just trying a bit too hard and lost traction.
Yeah, that's just it. He got in right there in the slickest part of the racetrack like we had talked about earlier, slid out across, jumped into the cushion, and slid into the fence. I mean, it's a pretty light turnover. You can tell by John's reaction right there that he's really disappointed. He had a good run going, and, John's a beginner in this deal, and he's going to get it. He's going to be a good one.
I guarantee it. He's already showing a lot of signs of greatness, and we're going to come right back with the balance of tonight's 25-lap sprint car feature event. Looking for the restart with 7 laps complete. Mike Eardley is your race leader. Corey Haas is second. The story, though, that driver in third spot. Fred Raymer started 12th, already up to third. Field off turn 4, green flag. Eardley on the gas quick. He'll lead the field into turn 1. Raymer just as quick, battling for the number 2 spot. Raymer on the inside, Haas on the outside. Corey Haas will hold on to the position for the time being, but Corey Haas knows. He took a look at the scoreboard. He sees the 51 right behind him. Now the 51 just ahead of him. Just that quick. Fred Raymer goes from third to second. All of a sudden, Raymer switches lines. He goes to the top side in turn 2. Here comes the 21 of Brian Monteith getting by Corey Haas. Haas battling back on the inside, and it's going to be the 21 of Monteith quickly switching lines. He'll retake the position. Brian Monteith switches back to the top side. That's where he's known to like to race. He'll do so coming off turn 2, and all of a sudden we may have a 3-car battle for the lead. Mike Eardley has it. Here comes Fred Raymer. Here comes Brian Monteith. Those 3 drivers bumper to bumper down the front stretch into turn 1. Looks like Monteith, the only driver deciding to choose the high side. It works. He goes from third to the front. Just that quick. Here comes Raymer. He'll go from third to the lead just as quick. Here comes Brian Monteith battling back on the inside. It will be Raymer leading lap number 11. But Monteith may not be finished yet. Both drivers this time go to the high side. In turns 1 and 2, they'll race down the backstretch. Mike Eardley falls back to third. Then it's Greg Hodnett up into the 4th position. Hodnett started 11th. He's working his way to the front of the field. But right now out front, it's all Fred Raymer. Fred, a 7-time track champion here at Williams Grove Speedway. Actually very close to notching his 8th City Route Auto Glass track title with a substantial lead over defending track champion Todd Schaefer. But right now, Raymer concerned about one thing, and that is tonight's feature race. Right now, he's going to have to be concerned with Brian Monteith. Monteith within a car length. in turns 1 and 2. Yellow flag going to come out, though, as Troy Fraker loses power coming off turn number 2. He will not have enough momentum to get off the speedway. The car slowing down and actually stopping just prior to the bridge there on the backstretch. And Fred Raymer will now have a moment or so to gather his thoughts and decide the best way to stay in front of Brian Monteith. More from Williams Grove when we return.
Acme Trailer Works, a full-service trailer and truck body repair company in New Cumberland, Pennsylvania. Acme Trailer Works manufactures quality utility trailers and is looking for dealers. Whether you have a trailer that hit a bridge, needs its doors fixed, or requires any other repairs, Acme Trailer Works can fix it. Our Acme Car Company division builds specialty vehicles and does custom fabrication and welding. For more information, call us, check our websites, or talk to John Mickle or Bob Bennett at the track.
I did not understand what kind of mortgage I was getting. I don't want to lose my home.
Don't ignore the problem. Contact the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency. For 35 years, we've been the one for housing help. Don't be embarrassed if you didn't understand the papers you signed. You're not alone. Qualified homeowners can refinance their mortgage to payments they can afford. To get started, contact PHFA at 1-800-822-1174.
Back at Williams Grove Speedway, Troy Fraker tags one of the tail end of the field. He was the reason for the latest caution. 13 laps complete. Fred Raymer is your leader. Brian Monteith second. Green flag. Single file restart. It's Raymer leading the field into turn 1. Staying on the high side. Monteith tries the low side, but is unable to close up on the rear bumper of Raymer. Right now, Greg Hodnett working his way up through the field. He's in 4th, challenging Mike Erdley for the number 3 spot. And also making it a 3-car battle, the 30 of Doug Ash. Ash trying to find a way to stay up with the Hodnett and Erdley cars as Raymer continues to show the way down the backstretch into turn 3. There's that battle. As you can see, Greg Hodnett takes the spot away. Hodnett up to 3rd after starting in the 11th position. Mike Erdley is 4th. Rounding out the top 5 will be the 30 of Doug Ash. Then it's the 10N of Nicky Young as Fred Raymer continues to hold on to the lead, holding Brian Monteith at bay. Two distinctive different lines going into turn 3. Both drivers to the top side, off turn 4, down the front stretch. They're in back in turn number 1 again. Both drivers using the high line around turns 1 and 2. Looks like, Kevin, looks like Fred Raymer good everywhere. Brian Monteith pretty much having to stay on the top of the track.
Yeah, but I'm very impressed with how Monteith has been able to stick with Raymer, and I actually think that Monteith's car is faster around the top of the racetrack. Here you can really see him closing up on Fred. He gets the right opportunity here. He's going to give Fred all he can handle for the lead. Right here it is.
There he goes. Monteith to the bottom side, and almost some contact, if not. But it will be Raymer maintaining a race lead. Now, that really slows the momentum down for Brian Monteith.
Yeah, he tried a slide job there, and Fred entered in the middle, and he had no choice but to get the car sideways. You can see he loses about 10 car lengths, which is going to be very difficult to make up.
Well, indeed they are, but of course the leader's now starting to get into race traffic. But again, the laps are winding down. 19 laps complete, 6 laps remain. It is Raymer, but here comes Monteith.
Yeah, here he comes again, and I'm telling you, Monteith, I think, has a better car than Fred right now if he can just figure out a way around him.
We may have a real dogfight for the win in the checkered flag here tonight. Monteith staying right with Fred Raymer as they battle down front stretch into turn 1. Again, both drivers using the high line. Monteith gets very close to the rear bumper, Raymer, just not able to stay with him. Looks like Raymer getting off turn 2 a bit better that last lap.
Well,
we'll see.
Yeah, and you hear NASCAR drivers talk about dirty air, and it's the same thing in a sprint car. When you see Monteith close up so close to the back of Fred, it takes the air off his nose wing, and the car wants to do a wheelie. So, yeah, it's very hard to steer. So he's able to catch up to Fred, but catching him. Whoa, there's
a problem for our race leader. Working with Mark Coldren, one of the back markers here. Raymer, though, the professional that he is, the car was up in the air. He doesn't miss a beat. He continues to hold on to the lead, but here comes Monteith. They race down the backstretch into turn number 3. Again, that might have been the opening Monteith was looking for, but it was Raymer prevailing. 2 laps to go. Fred Raymer has it. Can Brian Monteith take it away? And Monteith pulled a slider this time going into turn 1. Raymer will return the favor, exiting turn 2.
Yeah, and he actually might have pulled that slider a little early. He lost some momentum there. We'll see if he can catch back up to him here for the last lap.
We're going to find out because the white flag is in the air. Final lap. Race traffic just ahead of the leaders. Monteith goes to the inside. He's alongside Raymer, but it will be Raymer coming off turn 2 with the lead. Looks like Monteith may have made slight contact with the outside retaining wall. Greg Hodnett taking over second. Here comes Doug Ash. Here's the checkered flag, and it will be Fred Raymer picking up the win.
Wow, what an incredible race.
That was indeed incredible. As Raymer picks up another win and, of course, getting a bit closer to another track championship here at the Groves. But, again, Fred Raymer picking up the win. Greg Hodnett coming home second there in the final laps. Brian Monteith gave it all he had. He ends up third. And fourth was Doug Ash. And completing the top 5, the 11 of Mike Erdley. We'll be back with more from Williams Grove.
Since 1995, J&K Salvage has been York County's premier recycler of ferrous and non-ferrous materials. Whether you have a bag full of aluminum cans or a flatbed loaded with scrap steel, you'll find J&K quick and convenient. We can even let you donate your recyclables to charity. We are committed to providing the best personal service and competitive pricing with the ability to adapt quickly to your ever-changing requirements. Call today at 717-843-3672 or visit jksalvage.com to see what J&K Salvage can do for you.
I did not understand what kind of mortgage I was getting. I don't want to lose my home.
Don't ignore the problem. Contact the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency. For 35 years, we've been the one for housing help. Don't be embarrassed if you didn't understand the papers you signed. You're not alone. Qualified homeowners can refinance their mortgage to payments they can afford. To get started, contact PHFA at 1-800-822-1174.
Acme Trailer Works, a full-service trailer and truck body repair company in New Cumberland, Pennsylvania. Acme Trailer Works manufactures quality utility trailers and is looking for dealers. Whether you have a trailer that hit a bridge, needs its doors fixed, or requires any other repairs, Acme Trailer Works can fix it. Our Acme Car Company division builds specialty vehicles and does custom fabrication and welding. For more information, call us, check our websites, or talk to John Mickle or Bob Bennett at the track.
Standing here with tonight's feature winner, Fast Freddie Raymer. Freddie, hasn't quite been the season that you've been looking for all year, but I'll tell you what, the car looked really good tonight. I mean, start about the 4th row and work your way to the front. It definitely had to feel good.
Yeah, they had the car good, but, took an ass whooping here the other Tuesday night, and that hurt a little bit. But obviously you did a great job and earned the money. But no, the guys had the car good, and just glad to win any race I can. It's just tough from 12th every week, but, we just got to keep plugging away.
I'll tell you what, Brian Monteith was definitely putting the pressure on you there at the end, and he was kind of making ground up, trying to do a big slider there at the end. What were you expecting? What were you thinking? Did you think you were going to pull it off?
Well, he definitely runs better on the top than I do, and I was more or less on defense up there, and I always preach that you shouldn't be doing that, but that's where I needed to run, and I knew once I turned back under him he was going to be in trouble because he lost so much momentum down there with 2 to go or whatever, but obviously Greg got him, but just did the best I could and was able to pull it out.
There's a man with the feature experience of what to do in traffic and what to do at second place. Tonight's feature winner, Fast Freddie. Back to you, John.
Thank you very much, Jason Johnson, for helping us out here tonight. Kevin Nels, likewise, and man, what an outstanding show.
Oh, another outstanding show at Williams Grove Speedway. This is what it's like every week here. If you're not a regular visitor to Williams Grove Speedway, you need to get out here and check one of these races out.
Well, you're exactly right, and certainly want to thank everybody for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this edition of Race Time, and we certainly have a lot of big things in the works for the future. we do ask that you please stay tuned and check out your local listings. And as soon as we get things in motion and get things in cement, I should say, get them solidified, we will certainly get the word out to all the race fans. And you know what? A great opportunity for race fans to get their non-racing fan friends involved with auto racing.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, this is a family-oriented sport. Great racing every week. You need to come out here and check us out. But I want to thank you guys very quickly for having me up here. I really enjoy working with you guys, and like you said, hopefully we'll get to do something again next year.
Absolutely, Kevin. Great to have you as well. Sorry you're not in the car, but I'm glad you're up here with us tonight.
Well,
great job.
If you can't drive one, you need to talk about it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, fans, that's going to wrap it up from Williams Grove Speedway. Once again, hope you enjoyed tonight's racing action.